Yeah, I wanted to be the savior here. I wanted to be the reason that this program rises to sustained success, and I wanted to rescue every player in the program that had, kind of fallen out of love with what they were doing. And I mean, it was a very, I've learned a lot since then. And I think part of the struggle has been reshaping where I put myself in the order of things here, but it was very much about how I come and rescue this place. And I think the early struggles were just breaking that vision apart and say, well, maybe this isn't going to happen the way you envisioned it happening. So now you got to figure out actually how to become good at your job.
When I say that this is year 5, does that sound kind of crazy at all, or does it feel like it's been longer than that, or does it feel like it flew by?
It's both. I mean, there's parts of me that can't remember any other place in my career right now. I think it's just because I'm so submerged, and really, I mean, I've bled so much into this that it seems like there's nothing before and there's nothing after. It's just this. The other thing that always strikes me is how much my kids have grown. Just looking back at pictures and remembering, that my oldest was 7 when we got here, and now he's 12, soon to be 13. That's amazing to me. And yet, it still feels like we're early in. So I think there's a healthy part of this where, this is home. We've been able to stabilize to a point to be here 5 years, which is there's something to be said for that in the world we live in. And yet it still feels fresh, and it still feels challenging, and it still feels like I've got to evolve and grow to move it forward. And so there's not a sense of like, we're coasting. It's still got to be attack every day, which is why I have the coffee at 2 o'clock.
Take me to the moment you got the call, officially offering you the job. How did that go down? What was your reaction?
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. There were a couple of people that were candidates, a couple finalists, and I wasn't sure where I fit in that. And I thought I'd had a really good connection with the chancellor and Candace, and that part of it felt good to me. So in my mind, it was, I'd gone through an interview process at other places, and some had been really good synergy. Some you could just, you understood through that process how important alignment was and how important belief was from the athletic director, the chancellor, and the coach. And I'm a certain specific person. I don't, my flame burns really hot and it's intense, but it doesn't burn fast. I've got patience, and I want to see a vision through. And I felt like Candace and I really saw the world the same way in that respect, which excited me because I think good things take time. And so all that to say, I felt good, coming out of the process. There's still this element of the unknown. And when I got the call at 6 a.m., I think it was 6 o'clock Eastern time, which would have been 5 Central, it was early enough to be like, okay, well, I didn't realize I was going to figure out this soon, but here it comes. And when Candace offered the job, I can still hear her voice in my mind. It was very special. It was such a moment, and I don't think either of us had any idea what was ahead of us, but that's for sure a moment. I share the news with my wife, and she starts crying, awesome. Not out of joy, because she was going to have to move, and she was happy, and I she literally started to cry, but there was joy in this idea that, we were, moving on in this journey and this vision of a career that we had. And I think there was so much about this job that made sense for me. But, any of these moves become strain on the family. So the idea, we had set roots down in South Bend. I was there 4 years, and that was a really special time for me in my career, and again, the community, the success we had. And so leaving there was not easy. And yet this was the right job for me at the right time.
Yeah. When you get the official job offer, is there kind of a feeling that all the moments of your career have led to this moment, where all the ups and downs and the different, as you mentioned, moving around, being your GA years and coaching in your early years, it's got to be kind of a full circle moment where you're like, okay, this is what we were working towards.
It's so interesting because yes to that. And there's really this idea of like, I've been chasing this. And I think to a detriment. I think we kind of chase the shadows of the truth, and we think that these accomplishments define us and that we'll be whole when we reach these landmarks. And the truth is that we need to find the joy in where we are, and really soak up the time we have wherever it is we're planted. Because, for as much as this felt full circle to me, I was punched in the face, really as soon as I got here. And you realize pretty quickly, it didn't take me long into that first season to think, okay, well, first of all, I'm not going to be the savior of this program. So let me let go of that. That's a shadow. This is not going to be easy. So any version of this that I'd microwaved in my mind to where, I was going to be able to quickly turn this thing around, that's a shadow. And then the third thing is I can't do it on my own. So this idea that somehow I was going to be able to will this thing into success. And that's where you kind of reset and say, okay, this isn't an arrival. This is a new beginning, and it's an opportunity for me to grow. And I still think I had to get, maybe I say it this way, but I had to get bludgeoned to a point where I was willing to let go of any kind of expectation I had around what this was going to be for me, and instead shift focus into what I needed to be for other people. And that's actually how I'm going to find fulfillment in this. At Notre Dame, I'd worked so hard, and I can remember as I got into those last couple seasons, 19 and 20, where I knew I was so close to this goal. And yet I wasn't willing or able to like sit back and just enjoy the fact that I was coaching guys like Kyle Hamilton. And, I'd been around it's just the things we were doing there were so special. And yet my focus on what was next kind of robbed me from truly enjoying that. And so I guess one of the commitments I made to myself after experiencing the struggle the first 3 years was like, I don't know where this is going to go. I know we're going to try really hard, and I'm going to give everything I have to this. But let me just choose to enjoy it where it is right now, and enjoy the process of trying to grow it. And we'll deal with what's next when it comes.
Yeah. It's funny. What you just said reminded me, I saw a clip of Scotty Scheffler, the golfer, talking about, I don't know if you saw it, but he talked about how you chase all these moments, and once you get to the top, he's talking about winning the Masters. He's like, I leave the golf course and I got to go home and figure out what I'm eating for dinner with my family. Like it's not all it's made out to be, and you're right back on the road the next week, and that reminds me of it. And it's all about the process and the journey to get there.